Welcome, Heimoth, to Metallarium Pages. It's a great pleasure to talk with you about Seth, this new album, Le France de les Maudits, and more things relating to the metal world. So we are starting by asking, how are you? How was the band during the last years?
I'm personally great. We've just released the album a week ago, and it's going excellent. We've had great reviews all around, and either from America or from Europe. I'm very happy about it, very excited, and we are getting ready for this massive tour that we're having in Europe with Rotting Christ in October. So that's a lot of things to look ahead.
Okay, okay. Interesting. So, talking about from this new album, so when did you just start writing songs for this new album? Are all songs or the new, or perhaps did you rescue any compositions that were left in the previous albums?
No, basically, nothing was left in the previous album, and everything has been in the process like a year after the previous release. That is about 2 years ago. So it took more than a year to write everything, maybe a year and a half. And all these songs that you can hear in this new album have been freshly written.
Hmm. Okay, okay. Well, since the band returned in the 2011, the band has continued releasing albums since the Holy Spirit, then the Morceau de Cri, and Le France de Midi. Some three albums that in a row for set or what when you return as a band. So are you always working in a music, or do you prefer to focus it when you are perhaps finished touring, finish the promotion from the album, or how do you decide is when it's time to work in a new songs and a new album?
Well, that's a good question. Actually, I've never been asked that kind of question. But to be honest, I'd say that's kind of arbitrary. Whenever you feel like it, and then that's the right decision to take, and then you start, and then you just keep on until the end. So basically, when I want to start writing, then it means that I have a goal to achieve, and mostly it's like a race, just to try not to stop until you're done with it. And yeah, that's about it on my part anyway. I see St. Vincent is coming here.
From my side, it's quite easy because at least until now, I'm working. I like to have most of the songs ready or almost to get the global feeling of the riff and the music, and to let the inspiration comes and to create the lyrics and the concept and the global atmosphere. So most of the time, I'm waiting first for Heimoth to write songs. I would like, though, for the next album to start a different process and to start writing some lyrics before, just to experiment a new kind of a new way of working. But then, personally, the inspiration comes every day, every time, every second. So I'm just here with my hands open to get the rain from these clouds of creativity.
Okay, okay. Many bands and musicians see each album as a child, each one special in its own way. It's a bit of cliche to say that each new release is a band best. So, but do you consider this new album is your best work to date? If so, what are the reasons that make this your best album to date?
Is definitely the best album ever. Not only from the band, but in the whole black metal thing ever. Okay, to be more honest, I don't know what to answer to that kind of questions. Since music is a very a relative concept, and I'm just happy with very happy with this release. I was, I think, equally happy with the previous release, to be honest with you. So I wouldn't say this is the best release we've made. I'd say that in terms of sound and sound production, sound engineering, this is, I think, the best we've had so far, which tells me that we are heading to the right destination. But this is not the only criteria, of course. There's also a lot of other factors to take into account. That makes this question very difficult to answer if artists, want to be honest. So the only thing I can say that, I feel much happiness about this album and much achievement, either personal or also as a band. So it tells me that we are on the right track, and that's enough, I think, to give you some hints as some kind of answer.
I would say on my side, luckily, an album is far less pain than a child. Yet, of course, it's quite similar in a way, I would say. Indeed, there is some relief after a long time of working, of doubts and pain. And this album is, of course, you feel always like the new one is the best you can achieve because there is all the experience that you had in the past, and you know some mistakes that you don't want to make again. You know more precisely what you want to do. It's there is more will, more I would say less chance. It's more designed the way you want to, more mastering of it. So it's a real pleasure, and you feel more at ease with it. Then there is you are doing, of course, the best you can, but then you have some, of course, parameters in the end that are out of your control, and well, it's then the public to judge.
Mm.
You see that was supposed to be a very typical and easy question, which in the end, gives some much more demanding answers.
Okay. well, yeah, sometimes happen. So lyrically, what themes do you explore on this new album? Where does the inspiration come from, and why do you choose the name Le France de Midi?
Well, the main inspiration is the following and the sequel of the album, the former album La Morsure du Christ. La Morsure du Christ being the destruction of the religion and spirituality in the Western world that was symbolized by the burning of Notre Dame. And this album is, La Morsure du Christ is finishing with a song called Le Triomphe de Lucifer, Lucifer's Triumph, where Lucifer is bringing his light of new freedom, power to all the former damned people on the earth that were damned from the religious power and the former order. And so this is the logical sequel where all these so-called damned people that we believe that most of the black metal scene are part of are taking back their hatred, their strength back to be empowered by freedom and the light of Lucifer against all those former dogmas and oppressions. Now we call it La France des Maudits, France of the Cursed, of the Damned. La France because we are a French band, and we've been back to the French lyrics since the last album, and we want to put this French identity in front. Like we are playing typical French black metal, and we want to bring that front. So that was logical to have La France in the title, and of the damned. So all these damned people, which we are referring to, and which is the center topic of the album.
Okay, okay. So how do you feel the reception of your fans to this new album has been so far? What have the reviews been like? Do you usually read reviews or criticisms that are uploaded online, and how do you take these reviews?
Well, the reviews have been awesome so far. So we're very happy about it, and I haven't. I think what is nice with the interviews and also the reviews is also to know more about how people feel about it. It's not just about whether they like it or whether they dislike it. It's more about how to actually get some more objective criticism from your art, which is always enjoyable. And I've learned that a lot of people tend to see this album as somewhat more gothic, for example, more gothic elements compared to the other one, and maybe less aggressive as well. In a way, I think they are right, but this is just something that you know, with hindsight, I find quite interesting, and I don't realize it before. But yeah, it's very enjoyable to hear everyone's criticism, and that's it.
Okay. So thanks for this. Well, talking about the promotion for this new album, what kind of promotion do you have for this new one? Perhaps you will embark on perhaps you will prepare tours and new videos upcoming, or perhaps you're already working on a new album from Seth. Who knows? What kind of plans do you have for the Seth and the new album?
What do you mean? I'm sorry about that. What is your question about?
What kind of plans do you have for the promotion of this new album, tours, videos, and for Seth, obviously?
Plans, yeah, sure. Well, we are going to have a massive European tour with the Rotting Christ and also Borknagar in October. So that makes it a very significant promotion. So we have more than 27 shows in a row to play. That will be mostly in Central Europe and also Southern Europe, Spain and also Portugal. Other than that, we're gonna have some more shows, and we had like another tour as well with La Morceau de Christ a year ago in Europe that was smaller. So what I can tell you is that we are about to start some bigger plans and bigger promotion for this album.
Okay. Now, as I mentioned, talking about other kind of topics and now related to the history of Seth. Well, next year the band Seth will accomplish 30 years of existence because the first day that the band was created, it was in 1995. Next year will the band accomplish 30 years of existence. And perhaps what kind of plans do you have for the first 30 years of the band? Perhaps you will release a video, a Latin American tour. Who knows what kind of plans for these 30 years?
Well, what kind of plans would you see yourself?
Me?
Yes.
Well, I don't know.
What would you like to see, or what would you like to have? I'm asking you.
Well, depends. Perhaps a video, a full play show from a specific an album. Who knows? Or perhaps no.
In
Depends.
Peru. In
Who knows?
Peru.
Latin America in general.
Yeah, for the 30 years, let's play in South America. That would be great, for example.
We would
So
love
to answer yeah, who knows? To answer your question, we are currently discussing about it. So we'll mostly provide some kind of answer very soon. St. Vincent?
Well, we are focused on the new album release, as you said, and there is no plan right now for the celebration of the 30 years birthday, but we might have some proposals, we might have some ideas, and it will come quite fast, I guess, because we have to celebrate it. We celebrated the 20 years of the first album, Les Blessures de l'âme, and this is one major event as well, the birthday of the celebration of the 30 years of the band. So we have to do something quite special, and we will.
Okay. Heimoth and you.
You can invite us in South America, so we would do this celebration starting right in your countries.
Okay. Thanks. So you, Alsbit and you, Heimoth, are the last members since the original lineup since in 1995. So how many things changed for your perspective to now into the band and obviously into the black metal when you were born?
Well, first, most of the musicians that we are playing with currently do come from, the same generation of the 90s in the black metal. St. Vincent, even if he wasn't part of the band at the beginning, he's still playing in his old band, Black Lodge. And currently, there are two original band members. There are me and also the Alsvid, the drummer. And of course, that the whole black metal scene has evolved a lot tremendously, especially the French scene with bands such as Death by Omega and also other bands outside the black metal scene like Gojira. This to say that the French scene has developed tremendously years after years, even if we were one of the first. Which also significantly helped develop the French language, since we were, I think, spearheading at the time the French culture using French lyrics from 98. And what is good is that now it has been widely accepted, worldly, kind of, renowned as well with other bands such as Artist. So that's a very good thing that France is gradually marking some imprints worldwide.
Okay, so now all people know that France is the country of art for many kind of things. As I mentioned in previous question, I went to France and I was to the Louvre, a lot of art there. But the curious thing that happened in France is that France never has a great impact in the 80s or 90s when we talk about the heavy metal stuff. There's no bigger bands from the 80s or 90s, especially from the heavy metal, thrash metal, black metal, or death metal. Since that, because I'm from the 80s, and I remember very well when I hear a band from France, Massacre, I don't you in the 90s. So this kind of stuff. So for you now it's very different because you mentioned Gojira, has a great successful in the world for a lot of people. But what are the reasons that France never has in the 80s or 90s a huge bands like, I don't know, for the thrash scene, for the black metal scene from the region, etc. What do you think are the reasons that France never show up with a huge band in that level?
Well, actually, we had great bands in all the style you mentioned. At the very early black metal scene, we had the Black Legends. We had a couple. Yeah, Seth was there, and we had. Well, you see, you knew us. You know us back from the time. In the death metal scene, we had bands like I don't have names, like Aggressor, like Cloud Blast, that were quite very huge here. In the heavy metal scene, we had Sortilege, ADX, well, many bands with really great bands, and I think the diehards know these bands. But indeed, you're right. It was never such a huge success, like for if you compare with Gojira right now, or if you compare with the Norwegian, the Scandinavian metal scene, or German metal scene as well. And I don't know, Heimoth, do you have an explanation of that? I've always felt like the French scene and the French language was not as sexy as now. I don't know, not sexy, but had this popularity or attraction. I don't know. Do you have
Yeah, but
any?
even French bands who that were not singing in French, they didn't encounter much success either. So I think first there was too much emphasis. There was too much emphasis and too much focus on one, two, or three nationalities worldwide. And second, French bands just were not good enough at the time because they couldn't provide good production. They were not unable to
Oh, no,
impress
no.
people. They were not able to impress people with the sound itself only, other than the writing. So in a way, they just missed the boat due to possible lack of inspiration and also professionalism in the way that they wanted to set out their music.
Uh, Heimoth is right, but in the same time, there are a couple of bands that had a really great production. If you are speaking about heavy metal, if you're listening to Sortilege, the production is awesome, in my opinion. So I think that's not the only reason. It helps for sure, but I think it's not the only reason.
The second reason was possibly that there was much how to say um, um,
I would
the,
say
the,
the German, for example, Germany or Scandinavian countries, the countries itself are bringing much more support to this kind of music than in France. In France, it has always been back in the days like something very underground, far more than in Germany or Scandinavian scene. The people here are listening to completely different kind of music. Mostly, it's quite exceptional to see metalheads in France. Less and less, it became more popular. But back in the day, in the 80s, it was very like very exceptional to find a guy listening to metal. Most of the people were listening.
Also, another thing was that uh, I think French culture uh, in metal music has been regarded with much prejudices, and the worldwide idea that French were associated with romanticism at the time in the 80s and the 90s, that were associated with strong virility, with strong American culture, were totally dissociated with these French prejudice ideas.
Maybe could be.
So that means that a lot of people didn't actually care or didn't bother listening to French bands because they just didn't expect much.
Well, okay. Okay, now talking about especially from the black metal scene in France, I usually has attached with bands that I like since the 90s. I remember Blue Dot Snow, I remember You, I remember Sortiless as you mentioned it. I can remember the name Anorexia Nervosa, great band by the way, with an initial. And since 2000s, Death Spell Omega and Peste Noire and create something special into the black metal, something different than like Scandinavian has, well, since the 90s. So do you think now the black metal scene has a personal sound, well, pushing like Blue House North, Dead Spell Omega, Peste Noire, these bands like for me, and also Anorexia Nervosa in their first album, it's a great album for me. So do you think that black metal scene nowadays into the France scene has a personal sound?
All the examples you mentioned have indeed a very special sound that is quite different, and for sure they make a difference with that. For sure. I don't have much more to say.
I think it has helped to grow a singularity within the different black metal bands, and it has helped grow the French black metal scene to a certain level. Pluto Snow has been here for many years, and they're still around, and also other bands like Forbidden Sights, and also some bands, like you said, Death and Omega. I think they have helped fashion a new style of black metal, and from which I'm not too sure that we can be part of, because we are here, or we can bring out some French values and some uh, French identities, but we also in a way differ from these bands in how we consider black metal. What do you think?
Me?
Yes.
Again? Well, for me, as I mentioned it, For me, the Peste Noire, Anorexia Nervosa, and Death Spell Omega has their own team. It's very different from the Scandinavian scene completely. For me, especially for me, that's my thought. That's three bands I also loved since the beginning to now. So I have all collections from them in CD, so I love it. So well, we are very close to end this interview, guys. And talking a little more about black metal in general, and talking to many musicians of the style in many countries, we related that black metal today has become one of the mainstreams in terms of many details, of course, pain, Satanism, etc., and more things related to this. So many of these musicians, when I spoke in the interviews, or friends from Europe, told me that they blame to the Norwegian black metal bands for making this style very mainstream, and in some ways losing the initial essence that the black metal has since Battery, since first steps from from South America, like Sarcophago, this kind of stuff. So do you think that thanks to the Norwegian black metal, this style today have aspect of fear, or lose this aspect of fear, curiosity, and terror that it caused in the middle 90s or since the 80s? So because now there's a few commercials or YouTube channels that they told you how to do a corpse paint or make jokes about this style now.
Is it because of the Norwegian? I don't know. I would say because of the internet, but uh,
Yes, I agree with Vincent. I think this is due to new technologies and the fact that there is a way less mystery around the whole black metal thing in general. And the fact that everyone has to show themselves, which does contradict the essence of black metal in a way, doesn't help the root of the scene to evolve as it was supposed to be, and that route hasn't been strictly designed by the black metal by the Norwegian scene, since, as you know, the Norwegian scene has been inspired with other bands such as Celtic Frost and also Samera and also Black Sabbath in a way. But yeah, I mean, I think black metal has dramatically changed due to new technologies and today's commercial expectations.
Okay.
yeah.
Well, guys, well, perhaps do you want to add something, Saint Vincent?
No, because actually I was thinking that, and I must really explain in good words uh, my thoughts. I was trying to think still about it, but yeah, I think it's the new technology. I don't have nothing to add. I must said it all.
Okay. Well, guys, we come to the sad moment to this interview. I hope you enjoy this interview as I did, and thank you very much for your time. This new album is a great one. Le France de Midi is a great album. It's a tremendous album from the band as usually. Maybe you have something to add to your Latin American fans and Metallidium followers.
We're so excited to meet all the fans around there, and they are so legend that I know for a fact that one day they will wake up and will play very, very soon in Latin America.
And from my side, I have a special link with South America. So me gustó mucho Perú. Fue en Arequipa, fue no en Lima, pero en Arequipa, Salar de Uyuni, no, Salar de Uyuni, it's Bolivia, but I'm not sure there is a side close to Peru, no? Well, I've been there to visit the valley of the Incas and Tiwanaku, and so I really love, and I have really great and mystical memories about Peru. I would love to come back there. I would be so excited, and I would love to, and I hope I'm looking forward to that dream to become reality. Thank you for your support. It's great to have fans in Peru, and we are looking forward meeting you.